Our top focus, of course, remain what other than Imran Khan, once heartthrob of Pakistan, a legend in the cricketing world, today embattled on his way out as the Prime Minister of the country. In the last 1 week, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has pulled all levers to avoid losing a no-confidence vote against him in the National Assembly. In a widely covered address late last evening, the Pakistani Prime Minister blamed United States of a conspiracy to oust him. Masked as a slip of tongue, Imran's message was loud and clear. US, according to him, had been plotting a conspiracy to topple his government. Imran insinuated, which the US shunned as bogus claims. Let's first listen in to the allegations.
आज जो आपके पास ये सारी बात करने के लिए इसलिए आया हूं कि अभी हमें 8 मार्च को या उससे पहले 7 मार्च को हमें एक अमेरिका ने एक बाहर से मुल्क ने, मैं नाम मतलब मेरा कि किसी और बाहर से मुल्क से हमें मैसेज आती है.
Well, we are closely following developments in Pakistan, and we respect, we support Pakistan's constitutional process and the rule of law, but when it comes to those allegations, there is no truth to them.
Well, if you listen to Imran Khan and if you believe him, take him at face value, then it isn't his ineptitude, it isn't his incompetence, but it's some power outside of his country, obviously pointing fingers at the US, which is responsible for the mess which he finds himself in. If you look at the real power moves, where are they happening? They are happening in the backdrop with Imran's allies abandoning him and joining hands with the opposition. In the latest, Punjab Chief Minister Usman Basdar has also tendered his resignation, which has now been accepted as well by the governor. The big question remains, are these developments leading up to Imran's ouster on this Sunday? If at all, I reiterate, the no confidence motion actually goes through when the Pak Assembly reconvenes. Many reactions coming in. Let's listen into those and then we will open this up for discussion. All right, let's directly go to our guests. We have Ambassador Suresh Goyal, former diplomat, with us. Also joining us is Amjad Ayub Mishra. He is Pakistan POK human rights activist. With us is also Major General A.K. Sivach. He is a global strategic and defense expert. Joining us also is Joyita Basu. She is the editor of the Sunday Guardian. Starting first of all with the ambassador on the panel, Ambassador Suresh Goyal. I'm sure all of us heard that speech which was given by Imran Khan, the live telecast which he addressed to the people of Pakistan late last night after multiple delays. Very interesting that from yesterday he seems to be blaming everyone, all and sundry. It's some foreign power, one country, a powerful Western country which is backing India, which wants to oust him. How do you view these statements by Imran Khan? Very clearly, he's playing the victim card. Do you think that he's preparing for a life after the trust vote? Because end of the day, it looks like his downfall is imminent. Perhaps playing the victim card can help him, if at all, whenever elections democratically, again, if at all, they can be held in Pakistan.
Actually, I find the whole episode of the letter rather laughable, writing ridicule. Because when I heard about this letter, I wanted to ask, why would the USA have any difficulty with Imran going to Russia, Timbuktu, wherever he wants to go? Does Imran think that he is all that important to the USA, that the USA think that he's going to Russia is going to impact on Russia or Ukraine or anything at all in the world? Either he is overestimating himself or he's probably trying to, like you said, create an image of being a victim within Pakistan. So my suspicion is, my assessment is that all that he is saying to the people of Pakistan, the letter and everything, it is all for domestic consumption. And as you said very clearly, and I think that is my assessment too, He knows very well that by 3rd of April, he will not be the Prime Minister anymore. The options are going to be either there will be a new Prime Minister or the Parliament will be dissolved, in which case there would be an election sooner than what he thinks. But in either case, he would then appeal to the sentiments of the people to get re-elected or to get majority for his party. And I think that is what he's looking at rather than now. Now he knows that he has lost. And therefore, it is just to basically play the victim in front of the Pakistani audiences.
Yes, and that's exactly, what it seems to be, because these assertions, as you rightly said, sir, seem preposterous to say the least. Why would a foreign power, Amjad Ayub Mishra, want to interfere in Pakistan, go to the extent, of ousting and toppling Imran Khan government? It's very obvious. It is his political incompetence, the fact that he was losing the support of the public. Look at the economic shambles the country is in, and the fact, if you antagonize the army chief, we all remember how there was a public skirmish between Mr. Bajwa and Imran Khan over, of course, the appointment of the ISI chief, and ever since then, everything has been going downhill for Imran Khan. And now that when he's sure that he's going to lose, his seat, he starts talking all sorts of, forgive my language, nonsense. He now goes on to say something which we are flashing on our screens as well. He says that a country which is an ally of India wants to oust him. It's very clear that he now wants to, put the entire responsibility of his failures on the US, on, of course, this so-called ally of India.
Yes, you have very rightly said that he's blaming everyone left, right, and center except himself. He is not ready, and that is one of the qualities of, if you want to become a leader, the first quality you should develop in yourself is to take responsibility of not only the things that you have done right, but also of the things that you have done wrong. And he is no leader. He is a puppet. He was brought in to serve the interests of the Pakistan military and to make sure that the big projects of CPAC and other projects go into the hands of the military establishment, the frontier work organization, and not in the hands of the public representative body called Parliament. So, and then he has his own attitude in life has become an obstacle in his development. He's arrogant. He's rude. He's a loose talker, and he has dug his own grave. He cannot blame anyone but himself for what he's facing today. And I think that once Imran Khan is out, Pakistan is going to not going to come out of this economic crisis at all, because
well,
the
yes.
Tehreek-e-Taliban.
I agree with you, sir. When Imran Khan is out, and it's most probably going to happen by the Sunday, if he allows the trust vote to actually take place, it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to make a difference when it comes to the situation, the mess Pakistan is in, and it's not even going to make a difference as far as India is concerned. Major General A.K. Siraj, I'm sure, sir, you'd like to come in here. We know that every Pakistani Prime Minister has been a puppet of the army, and so is Imran Khan. Bizarre claims have been coming from Imran Khan's side, of course. One, as far as the so-called alleged interference of US is concerned. More breaking news also coming in. We are flashing it on our screens also. Major General Siraj, I'm sure you can see it, on how Pakistan has now summoned, US diplomat, and it's the Pakistan government which has summoned, if I'm correct, the US envoy. This is over, of course, the allegation, the so-called secret letter, which Imran Khan keeps alluding to. First of all, how do you view these developments? I'm sure as a man of the army, as someone who has studied Pakistan very, very closely, sir, you'd know, just like anyone else does in Pakistan, anyone who's not in the good books of the army is going to go. US has nothing to do with it. India has nothing to do with it. It's really the biggest reason seems to be the rift between Bajwa and Imran Khan, and the fact that Bajwa won't stand by Imran Khan in this difficult time.
Absolutely correct. See, there's no doubt. In Pakistan, no Prime Minister has ever done 5 years. Everyone knows that every country has a army, but in Pakistan, army has got a country. The power flows from Rawalpindi General Headquarters, not from Islamabad. Having said so, the point today is the basic reason as to why Imran Khan is going is twofold. One is that he was brought for Naya Pakistan. He was not an elected Prime Minister. He was selected Prime Minister which was brought by the Pakistan army, and they thought that possibly he will make a Naya Pakistan and he will bring out the Pakistan from that economy mess. But what has happened is he's completely failed. You know, today Pakistan is in a more financial crisis than what he has taken over. In last 3 years, the Pakistan rupee has fallen down almost 30 to 40%. Their debt is $186 billion. They need $5 billion every year just to pay the interest of the debt they have taken. The foreign reserve has dipped down to $4.6 billion, which cannot even look after 15 days of their import. The inflation rate is in double figure. The exports are reducing, imports are increasing. There is hardly any investment taking place. So the Pakistan, administration has failed completely. Imran Khan is not in control of the thing. The unemployment is there. The corruption is of the highest level. Terrorism is increasing. Taliban Pakistan and Baluchistan Liberation Army have become very bold after Taliban has taken over Afghanistan. So in this crisis, that it is very correct to say that Imran Khan has failed himself. Whatever promises he's made, he is unable to fulfill that. At the same time, he had a rift between himself and Jana Bajwa.
Well, absolutely. And you know, sir, you're absolutely right. And what's an Imran Khan story without some cricket analogy? He's on a sticky wicket, and he said that he's going to play till the last ball, but it looks like the opposition is out to clean bowl him. We have, of course, news coming in of how Bilawal Bhutto is addressing the people of Pakistan as we speak. It's happening right now. He's been attacking Imran Khan for the last few days. United opposition, of course, bolstered by the fact that the numbers are clearly stacked against Imran Khan. Bilawal Bhutto once again attacking Imran Khan, calling him incapable, saying that his tenure as the Pakistani Prime Minister is over. Joyita Basu, we look at this emboldened opposition, the confidence coming from the fact that the number game is not really in Imran Khan's favor. Given all the developments which have happened today, do you think there is any possibility at all of Imran being able to cut out some sort of a last minute deal with the army, or ensure some back channel way to safeguard his seat, or do you think his ouster is completely imminent?
Well, Meenakshi, I think his ouster is imminent primarily because this vote is more about the army deciding not to support him anymore than anything else.
Yeah.
It is not so much about the political parties who have come together. It's not that. It's all about the kind of guarantees that certain political parties, the parties in the opposition, have got from the opposition, have got from the army, and it is obvious a deal has been cut. Imran has not got that deal. I'm certain it is PMLN and Bilawal Bhutto that their PPP and the groups that broke away from this PTI's alliance and all, they are the ones who have cut the deal with the army. So the thing is that you see now, given the economic mess that Pakistan is in, a large part of which is actually Pakistan army is doing, but the Pakistan army is not planning to go anywhere. So somebody has to be the fall guy, somebody has to be the scapegoat, and the thing is, you see, of course, Imran Khan is the scapegoat in this case, or fall guy, but at the same time, his own actions have not really helped his own case, because he has proved to be incompetent.
Yes.
And that really has shown. And you see, when you are looking at Imran Khan's utility value, what was Imran Khan's utility value to the army? One of the reasons I think he was brought in was primarily because he would go to the West and he will be getting Pakistan out of those grey lists, and ensure that the loans and the money tap is opened. Given his background, given his Oxbridge background, given the way he talks, even though he wears very sherwani and all these clothes, very Islamic clothes now, but overall that Western image that he has, and they did try, by the way, certain mainstream newspapers in America in particular did try to publicize his cause in a very big way. But that did not work. In spite of all that lobbying in favor of Pakistan, Joe Biden did not even call him for a year. For over a year, he has not even called him. If you ask me which power really wants him out, it is China that wants him out, because it is under Imran Khan's tenure that CPEC has been a mess. There has been corruption. There has been no cleaning up.
Okay.
The whole project has got, stalled. But at the same time, everywhere it is the army that is there. And of course, Imran Khan has tried to go against the army by opposing Bajwa's choice of ISI chief. So all that has not really helped.
Yes, absolutely. And if you speak against the army, he dilly-dallied and he procrastinated when it came to extending Bajwa's term. ISI chief, of course, his appointment mess what had happened. If you antagonize the army, you're going to lose your seat as the prime minister. End of the day, these prime ministers are just puppets. But interesting take, we don't know whether it's China or US, whoever wants to oust him. The reason he's going out, it's very obvious, because he's antagonized the army. Army is not on his side. And secondly, his own incompetence and failures. But Ambassador Suresh Goyal, sir, as a former diplomat, how do you view these statements which Imran Khan has been making from yesterday? Just a few hours ago, if I'm correct, Imran Khan made another statement invoking India, and once again he showers praises on India. Of course, India doesn't need Imran Khan's endorsement, I reiterate that. But what do you think? Imran Khan praising India, talking about our independent foreign policy, of course, in juxtaposition to how he's not able to take any decision on his own, and that's the reason he claims for his downfall. How do you view these statements coming from Mr. Khan? Ambassador Goyal, can you please unmute yourself, sir?
I don't think that he's praising India. He's basically using India as a reference point for the audiences in his own country, pointing at how Pakistan has been losing basically because of the kind of politics that the opposition is indulging in. He's blaming opposition for shackling him and for tying his hands so that he cannot carry his own foreign policy. But I think more than anything at all, he, to my mind, hinting at the danger that India could be unless he is allowed to continue as the Prime Minister, unless he is allowed to basically have a say in how policy is formulated. Therefore, we should not really take his words of praise for India as a praise really, but as a reference point for Pakistan. Number two, what I think we should also note really is that in terms of Pakistan politics, at the moment, except China, there is hardly any other country, and maybe the OIC as a bloc, basically because it does have Pakistan as an opportunity to berate India and try to bring the Islamic countries together. But with the exception of OIC and China, not even Turkey, not even Saudi Arabia, not even Malaysia, today actually talks about Pakistan as a kind of international option for them to work.
Yes. So
that is what Pakistan is becoming, and therefore rest is really irrelevant. To my mind, we should completely forget what is happening in Pakistan. India does not lose anything at all by happening.
Yes. Fair point. India loses nothing, India gains nothing. As we discussed earlier, one puppet goes and he's reinstated by the next end of the day. We know who the masters are, and when it comes to our foreign policy or even our relations with Pakistan, it's unlikely that it's going to affect, whether Imran stays or goes, that's going to get drastically changed because of the developments. But, everything which happens in Pakistan, it's like a masala pot boiler. Everyone just wants to know each and every update and detail, and considering, it's our neighbor, that is something which the Indian audience is also quite interested in, sir. But point taken, Amjad Ayub Mishra, since we're speaking, of Imran Khan, and I don't want to degrade the debate where we just diss Imran Khan for 30 minutes and just gleefully go home thinking that, we have shown Pakistan down. End of the day, there are some real issues. As a former ambassador was also pointing out, it's very obvious that Imran has failed on every front. Since, you are a POK human rights activist, I'm sure you'd know it better than any of us, how he has been rejected by the same people, very handful of them who had wanted him in power. He has been rejected by the citizens. We've already discussed his rift with the army. When we look at, of course, the international arena, perhaps other than China, there is no other country which seems to be backing Imran Khan. He really has become a headache for the army, and that's why perhaps it looks like that they are, planning for his possible replacement.
Well, I quite agree with Jyoti Basu's analysis because she is right that it is China that actually wants Imran Khan out.
Okay.
That point has not been highlighted enough by myself or by anyone so far, but that is a very valid point because for 3 years, CPAC has come to a standstill. In Balochistan, the uprising and the war for independence in Balochistan has intensified. The TTP has gained roots in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. In Gilgit-Baltistan, there is instability. The fact of the matter is that in Gilgit-Baltistan, people are opposing CPAC because they are complaining that too many Chinese are coming to Gilgit-Baltistan to work on those projects against the promise that was made that locals will be employed for the project. So one of the main reasons I think Imran Khan is now no more the blue-eyed political boy of this region is what Jyoti Basu has very rightly pointed out that China is also not, and the reason Shah Mahmood Qureshi went in a last-ditch attempt to China 2 days ago was also, I think, the part of convincing China to maaf kar do, which Pakistan is claiming that Shah Mahmood Qureshi went to moderate the discussions and the war between Russia and Ukraine, that they don't need Pakistan for that. The main reason for Shah Mahmood Qureshi's visit to China was to pacify China, but that did not succeed. Yeah.
But as far as these foreign powers are concerned, that seems to be, you know, the main contentious point. It doesn't matter whether China likes, you know, Imran Khan or not, whether US genuinely wanted Imran Khan out. End of the day, everything boils down to the will and whim of the army, isn't it, Major General A.K. Sewaj? Because, you know, if you look at a pattern in Pakistan, as you know, you were speaking of the history of Pakistan, no PM has been able to complete his or her term. When we speak of this so-called non-existent almost democracy in Pakistan, claims have been coming from Imran Khan's side. Many may say it's preposterous. He says there are assassination bids against him. But when you look at the history books and you look at really, you know, the dark chapters of the democracy of Pakistan, all of this could very well be a reality.
Absolutely. See, the Pakistan army is totally involved in the economy of Pakistan. Their Fauji Foundation has a budget of $5 billion. You know, from real estate to bank, from toothpaste to cement is manufactured by Pakistan army. So that is the interest of theirs. They run a parallel government. No, as far as Pakistan concerned, they have, now Pakistan army has become very clever. You know, they will never ever do a coup and take over the, you know, complete government by themselves, because they know it that they have complete power, but an authority, whereas responsibility is of the civil government. And whatever happens, they can blame the civil government, they can change. Now, the point which we were asking, does it impact India? As on today, it does not make any difference whether Imran Khan goes and the other government is in place of Shehbaz Sharif or anyone else, because the actual shots are taken by Pakistan army, not by the civil government. At the same time, let's say if there was a coup and the Pakistan army take over, yes, its course makes a difference. Then you have to think twice, you know, as to how do we handle Pakistan now. But having said so, I fully agree on 2-3 issues. Yes, China can be one of the factors, and America is another factor. The point is that he was too much boisterous, trying to nullify that America is asking for bases. You know, Pakistan army and American army have the best of the relations. Pakistan army officers do a lot of training there. So as on today, the establishment, that is Pakistan army, want good relations with the US. And whereas Imran Khan was not trying to have a...
But Imran...
And, you know, boldly saying that, you know, Pakistan will not give any bases to America. That also was not taken very well by the US. So I suppose that in diplomacy also failed, in foreign relations also failed, and economically the country went from bad to worse. You know, the debt has increased manifold. Rupee of Pakistan has fallen down 40% in last 3 years. So he has failed in all spheres. Corruption has increased. So now he has no one to blame but himself. He must understand. So whatever he now speaking, it is a sympathy he want to get it. He want to show a victim. It is a farewell speech which was given to him. And now he is talking more like as if he is preparing himself for the future election.
Yeah, there seems to be no doubt that Imran Khan is playing the victim card. Speculations, of course, rife that he could be thinking of life beyond the no trust vote, considering the number game is completely stacked against him. But Joyita Basu, very interesting, just to take Major General Siwaj's thought forward. Very, very interesting that this is the same army which had installed Puppet Imran to the post of the Prime Minister when he could not get the majority. They got the coalition partners. They ensured, you know, that he becomes the Prime Minister of the country. And today, when he's not been able to strike a camaraderie, as Major General Siwaj was also talking about with Joe Biden, he's had no meeting ever since Mr. Biden has come into power. Economic front, any other front, you know, diplomatic front, be it OIC also, they have more or less, you know, time and again. You have, of course, UAE and other delegations which have visited Jammu and Kashmir to explore business options. So be it, you know, Pakistan's favorite Kashmir issue, or be it camaraderie with the United States, or the internal politics and economics of the country, Imran Khan seems to have failed on all the fronts.
Meenakshi, here it's a question of Imran Khan's utility to the army. I mean, army is not going to place anyone as Prime Minister unless and until that person has some kind of value to the army. And in this case, they placed certain hope in Imran Khan about being able to, you know, as basically a lobbyist with the West and bringing it out of the woods that it is in Pakistan. But that has not happened, you know. Instead, what they have actually, as far as the army is concerned, Imran Khan became too big for his boots, and then he started expressing his unhappiness with the army's choice, with Bajwa's choice. Initially, by the way, Bajwa and Imran were together pretty hand in gloves with each other. If you remember what happened, there was unhappiness in the army itself about Bajwa becoming, continuing for another 3 years. Imran was very much with him, but then Imran also started voicing his opinion, started saying no, he did not. He wanted a particular ISI chief to continue the earlier one, while Bajwa wanted somebody else. So Imran also started, I think, showing his, okay, I'm independent. So, army did not like it, obviously. So it is but natural. Now that he has outlived his utility, army wants him out. And at the same time, if the blame of the situation, the street anger that is happening in Pakistan, that can be directed towards him. And if he becomes the fall guy. So I don't see him continuing. There's something majorly would have changed over the weekend for him to win the trust vote.
Well, absolutely. Imran Khan has been harping on a so-called trump card, which he, of course, claims that he's withholding close to his chest. But it's very obvious if he had any trump card, he would have revealed it by now. But yes, looks like that Imran will not be able to save his seat. His imminent ouster seems very obvious, but till date, if you look at all the developments coming in, everything is leading up to the trust vote, which is going to take place on Sunday, the 3rd. We'll have to really wait and watch what happens, whether Imran is by any stroke of luck or by some miracle able to hold on to his seat, or as expected, he is going to be ousted as the Prime Minister of the country. Either way, whatever happens, be it Imran or be it Shahbaz or be it anyone, end of the day, it's only going to be, very unfortunately for Pakistan, a puppet of the army which is going to be installed as the next Prime Minister. For India, unlikely that these developments are going to mean anything diplomatically. But yes, when it is Pakistan, these ousters of their prime ministers, which we have seen multiple times in the past, do make a very thrilling conversation topic. We will keep an eye on it, and we will keep bringing all our viewers each and every update on the same. On that note, I'd like to thank all the experts who joined us on NewsX. Another special debate lined up on the other side.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.